Welcome to The Bridge. I'm Farron.
Hi there, I'm Somalia. Welcome to the only TV show that is written by DeKalb students, produced by DeKalb students, and performed by DeKalb students. I'm from Tucker High School, Region 4A champ.
And I'm from Druid Hills High School. We have another great show for you today. We have Marcus Mathews from the gaming company Konsole Kings here to discuss careers in the animation and gaming world.
We also have musical performances by Destiny, Rochelle, Deatrius. So stay tuned and relax as we teach you about everything from climate change to how to prepare you for college in the fall.
Deatrius is what we like to call a conscious rapper. He talks about what it's like growing up today, and he raps positively. So please welcome Deatrius Craig.
Chop on down, well now, raise 'em up a higher, let 'em sun go down. Whoa, I don't know the difference when the chop on.
Blinded on myself, King James sit on the shelf. Look inside myself. I connected with all my from the churches to the liquor stores, working signs on the doors. We speaking sin, cause out here in front of the Lord. The mouth was swore, but the doctor's cutter can't afford. It's hard to focus, praying to the Lord for a Ford. When the pastor's in a Lamborghini, he eating the fettuccine. I eat this toothpicks like a bikini. You eating greedy if you're taking plates from the needy. You need the ties, but I'm tired of being trick-or-treated. I need a drink on a Sunday after pastor preaching. I see the reason they be catching sermons from the TV. Double click, delete me, hashtag retweet me. Now you're in the web like Peter Parker in this peaky. Mary Poppins, Poppy, just sleep with Yeezy. Trapper, died and live trying to be a Jeezy. Fake tatted like Weezy, just sicker than easy. But all my people is gods, I don't need you to teach me. Blinded on myself. King James sit on the shelf. Look inside myself. I connected with all my help. From people to gods. From people to gods. From people to gods. But all my people is gods. Just graduated and they ain't teaching my mathematics. They throw my partner POs like it's some kind of package. I need some answers, can't even find it on college campus. Living with my moms, but my loans cost a match. Cause college costs about 100 grand. So I'm popping rubber band. For my high learning, need the method man. I bust a rhyme, commit a crime for the dollar sign. See, it's designed to keep the color walking in the blind. I mean, dang, I got blacked off for the demons for taking me sip. A Corona mixed with lemon lime. Double click, delete me. Hashtag retweet me. I'm snapping shots while these people trying IG me. Cause Mary Poppy, just sleep with Yeezy. Trapper, died and live trying to be a G. Fake tatted like Weezy, just sick and easy. But all my people is gods, I don't need you to teach me. Blinded on myself. King James sit on the shelf. Look inside myself. I connected with all my help. From people to gods. From people to gods. From people to gods. But all my people is gods. Time to free the isms, I free the guys from mental prison, joining Godlyism. I made the promise without the prison. Riding through the valley of death, I feel myself giving. I feel myself. Yeah, hut one, hut two. You still lost in the youth? Huh? This one here for you. Yeah, this one here for you. Hut one, hut two. Yeah, you still lost in the youth. This one here for you. Yeah, this one here for you.
Yes. Thank you, Deatrius, for kicking off our show with that great performance. Next, we're going to keep it 100. The gaming industry is a multi-billion-dollar industry, and we all play games at home or on our phones, right? I know I do. Let's keep it 100 with Mathews of Konsole Kings.
I'd like to introduce Mr. Marcus Mathews, head of gaming. First question I would like to ask you is, how did you get started in this industry?
Yes, that's a really good question. You know, my background is actually in computer programming. And as a kid growing up, I loved playing video games. Back in the day when I was growing up in the 80s, Atari, Pac-Man, games like that were really fun and popular. And I wanted to figure out with a couple of my friends from my high school on how to make games. And they were programmers, and I started learning how to program. They taught me how to code. And one thing led to me going to Georgia Tech, major in engineering, started working on side projects in gaming, and got my lucky break and ended up in the industry after I graduated.
What was it like working for Sega?
It was a fulfillment of a dream I had since I was middle school of working in the video games industry, and specifically I wanted to do sports games. You know, my brother played professional football. I grew up playing all the sports back in Florida, and I always wanted to make I love playing Madden football games, and I wanted to make my own. I ended up going to Sega, working on the NBA games, and ended up being the senior producer on NBA 2K for the launch of Dreamcast. So that was a great experience.
Do you think video games should be more educational for teenagers?
I look at the video game industry as another form of entertainment, just like in movies or music. And you have movies that are very entertainment-oriented, right, like big action movies, and you have movies and films that are documentaries, which are very educational. So you have documentaries about Dr. King and the Civil Rights Movement, or you can have a big action film like, you know, Fast and Furious, and I think the same is for gaming.
Do you feel like do you feel like social media has taken over video games of this generation?
Actually, I think it's enhanced video games. I don't think it's taken over. I think it's a new way to help people discover games, whether it's a console game or a game that's on your phone. Right. Companies are using Twitter, Facebook, Instagram to promote their games. So I think it's a good compliment.
Okay. Now, tell me, what, in your honest opinion, what is your favorite video game?
What is my favorite video game? Oh, I can't just pick one. I got to split it up into about 3 different generations. So I got to go back to the old school arcade games and talk about the Defenders back in the arcade and Asteroids back in the day. You know, back in the 90s, I was a big Madden on the Sega Genesis player. You know, I also like Tekken and the fighting games on the PlayStation. So, you know, I got a wide range of games, but it's hard to narrow it to one.
What influenced you to get in this industry?
You know what? Passion. You know, even though growing up in Jacksonville, nobody in my neighborhood, no one I knew worked in the video game industry at all. It didn't exist. Back then, there were no majors for video gaming, but I just had a singular determination. I was going to figure this thing out. I was going to go to college, get my education, try and do any gaming, interactive media stuff I could take, and try and network and meet people who were doing gaming at Georgia Tech and going to conferences and student organizations. And I, you know, finally got that break to, you know, do educational games actually with IBM here in Atlanta, and that led me to getting my foot in the door. Okay. So it was just, I was just determined.
Do you think teenagers can balance between going to school and video games? Because, you know, especially male teenagers are very addicted to these games that you guys are putting out. So do you think that can be balanced?
That's a great question, because I definitely didn't know how to balance it when I was growing up and when I was in school. So I don't have a good answer for that other than to say, just like any activity, interest, you always got to balance your work with the stuff that you're doing for fun, whether you're playing basketball, video games, watching movies, you know, even being on the internet, you know, you just got to balance it, make it work.
Okay. How are video games made?
That's a very good question, because a lot of people understand how movies are made, understand the music industry and how to do a CD. I know people who understand in music industry how to do Fruity Loops and do a beat, and you can go on the internet and people figure out a lot of stuff. Of course, with filmmaking being around so long, and with all the cable shows and information out there, people know about directors. The directors and the people behind the scenes of movies are promoted, so people know who Spike Lee is and Steven Spielberg and things like that. But when you go to talk to people about video games, you know, no matter how old or young, you know, people really don't know at all who the people behind the scenes are, who the top producers and coders and artists in the video game industry at all. People don't even realize that in the video game industry, most of the games are not made by the big video game companies, but they're made by small development studios that the big video game companies hire.
Right.
And it's very similar to in the movie industry when Paramount Pictures wants to do a film, they'll go hire Steven Spielberg, and a production company will produce the film, and Paramount Pictures funds the film. And then when the film's done, they're on to the next film. And that's the same way the video game model is. So most of the games are done by independent studios who are hired by Electronic Arts, Take-Two, Nintendo, Sega, and those are where the games are being made. And like, for example, one of the top selling games this year is a game called NBA 2K. You know, if you're in the games, everybody knows that game. You know, it's been one of the best-selling games of the past 15 years. I was a senior producer on the original one back in '99 when it launched, and that's done by a studio outside of San Francisco called now it's called Take-Two Sports, but it's called Visual Concepts. And Sega, when I was at Sega, we hired that studio to do the first NBA 2K for us. And in doing that game, you know, it was a group of people at Sega and a group of people at the development studio. We went into a conference room and sat there and figured out, okay, we've been playing games, what's working, what's not working. Now it's our game, what's going to be the fun stuff we want to put in the game? Right. So we'll brainstorm, come up with ideas, make a list, and start to figure out what we want to do. Right. And basically, that studio took those ideas and spent 2 years developing the first NBA 2K. It was a team of about 40 or 50, almost 50 people. It was millions of dollars of projects. And just to let people know, when you're making a game, games are primarily developed by programmers. Right. We have a team of programmers that takes the ideas and actually implements it, and they work with the artists to get the art from the artists into the game.
Okay. Well, thank you for that informative information about gaming. We appreciate that. I was going to ask, would you like to come to the little kickback me and my friends are having?
Oh, sure.
All right, bro, let's go.
All right.
Baron, I want to know more about gaming.
Me too, Samoya.
Let's kick back and talk about gaming with Marcus, Matthew, and the pit crew.
Mr. Mathews is here at our kickback today. And I just got one question. I'm sure we all can collaborate on it. We all have been addicted to video games and, you know, the effects and, you know, the time spent. And, you know, we all have school. So I'm just trying to say, is there a way we can all balance that without getting addicted?
That's a great question. It's a hard thing to balance work and fun stuff. Okay. But just like any activity where you're playing volleyball, basketball, football team, music or dance, anything that you like to do, you just got to make sure you find the time to do the work you got to get done, and then what's left over, you can play video games or do whatever else is fun.
Right. Do you think there should be a restriction on games with younger children?
I really do think there should be a restriction because sometimes there's not enough balance. You know, some children are social and some are not. So some prefer to play games, some don't. So when you have a child that's addicted to playing games 24/7, it's going to be very difficult to pry them away.
Right.
I don't think games are supposed to be something that children indulge in for a consecutive amount of time. Games is recreation. Like, that's what games are supposed to be. Academics are something that children shouldn't be. But as far as gaming goes, so long as you're having fun, but don't make it an addiction.
It becomes an addiction, like when it takes over your whole entire life, right? Like when you can't concentrate on anything else, and it's just the game and how I get past this level, and how I get past that level. What am I gonna do when I beat the game? Y'all are describing my whole life right now. I myself am like a huge video game princess, and I'm that person that when I'm playing a game, I will compare the graphics. I'm that deep into the game. But even I know why I need to put my controller down when I'm trying to like grab a character out of the screen. Like, no, you don't do what I think. I know sometimes I go a little overboard. So.
Like some people, like you don't know when to stop them because if you're getting addicted to it, you like I like this and I don't want to stop. So it's just because I personally have had problems with it because I'm like I want to do this all night and then I get up in the morning. I shouldn't have done that. I really shouldn't have.
Like what she was saying, like I don't really get addicted when it's like a really good game.
Right.
Like I could play it just now. I was just playing on double tap the left arm.
Oh,
like 50 times. It's something about the game that just makes you want to keep it till you beat that score and you beat that score.
Right. So how do you know when your video gaming will turn into a career or just be a waste of time?
Playing video games definitely is a good start for one to be in the video game industry, but it's by far not enough to get you a career in the industry. When I've hired people for our companies or when I was working at Sega, I looked at your educational background and your projects and your portfolio. So you need to be able to show that you have the skills to be able to actually get in there and work and do a good job. So if you want to be an artist, going to a school like Savannah College of Art and Design or the Art Institute and getting your 3D skills and portfolio up is real critical. And it's very hard to do that totally on your own. And if you want to control how the game works and the logic of the game and the game design, then having a technical background like computer science from a school like a Georgia Tech or even a DeVry or a school of that nature will help as far as getting you the skills and then us being able to look at your work, whether you write a game or you do the art. So yeah, education is the critical part because that's what we look for.
What got you started in video games?
Passion.
But did you play?
I played games. I did probably play a little too much than what I should have growing up, but it all worked itself out. But when I was growing up, there was nobody around me who were in the video game industry. I had no idea how you would get into the industry. It wasn't until I got to college at Georgia Tech that I started to get a feel for what it was going to take. And I started meeting people from around the country when I was in college who kind of told me some things, and I started networking in the multimedia and gaming things that were going on in Atlanta at that time. And from knowing those people and networking, I was able to kind of get my foot in the door in educational games, even though I wanted to do sports games. But I had to get in where I fit in and get a start.
So what majors and minors should we go to college for if we wanted to become, be a part of the game?
And I think there's two things. You got to have the education and you got to do projects on your own time, whether it's a game demo or art portfolio, to showcase your creative skills or your abilities. So it would go from being an art major, doing 3D art, even fine art. You just need to be a good artist. It doesn't matter what computer program you use. You just have to be a great artist, have great vision. You can major in English and be a writer and design games, come up with scripts, what the characters say, the dialogue, or you can be even business majors and computer science and engineering majors. Either you can code or you can do the producing of the game, which is where you kind of handle the business aspects of video games as far as the budgets and the schedules and things of that nature. Having a business or a technical background helps there. So there's a lot of different ways to get in. You can even get in marketing. There's PR agents, there's marketing people who help come up with the ads and things of that nature. So there's a lot of different ways to get your foot in the door.
This is something that's just been on my mind. I have a little brother, and he plays the Wii all day long. Mm-hmm. He got Call of Duty, mm-hmm. Modern Warfare, all that type of stuff. Mm-hmm. So I was just wondering, do any of y'all think video games affect younger kids more than it does older kids like us?
Oh yeah, yeah. Because when you're older, your brain is already more developed, and when you're younger, anything and everything influences you. So the smallest thing, if you see somebody get or fall off a bike, you're going to be more hesitant to ride a bike because you don't want to do the same thing. It's just like video games. And I have a question for everybody else though. What do you guys think that video games are social or antisocial? Because I have had conflicts with people before about this, and we have still not found an answer for it.
Well, video games these days are trying to make it social with the internet connection thing. Like with Wii, you can click on something, you can have people from all over the place play with you, but at the same time, you're still in the room by yourself. And I mean, even if you're talking to someone with one of their head devices, you're still in the room by yourself, and you're still probably not going to learn as much social skills as you would in an actual social setting, kind of like this one. You're learning to talk to people when you're in real life. But I'm not saying that video games have a negative effect all the time, but sometimes, like games like Grand Theft Auto that seriously promote kind of reckless and unnecessary violence, they have the tendencies to make kids
Like, not all the time, but some kids will get angry and they will do whatever they see in the video games to something else. Like when you were a kid and you watched Power Rangers, I know myself, I started like kicking around vases and stuff. I was like, I have all the powers in the world, and I thought everyone else was pink, and I became the Pink Ranger. The Pink Ranger was me. So I used to do that stuff, so I know that I was influenced as a kid, but I knew that there's a difference between reality, there's a difference between what's going on virtual reality. So I just think that there probably needs to be a better regulation as to what's real and what isn't.
I think it is antisocial at some point because you separate yourself from the world, sitting in a room all day, playing this, trying to beat a level. You know, it needs to be a certain restriction on that, especially for younger children, because their mind is just everywhere.
Yeah.
Just like,
Speaking
of
younger children, most of them, they see game as a reset. So, they grow up, oh, I died here, reset it, and they might apply that to life. So they might get in trouble in class and then say, oh, reset. That's just the way we see it. And some people process things differently, so they might grow up thinking that life is just a reset button. And it's not just kids, it's some adults as well.
So would you say that maturity plays a role in what games you should play?
That's why there are age limits on games. Yeah, that's why there's age limits, and that's why parents should really pay attention to those age limits, because not everyone can handle it. If the game says 14 and up, make sure your child is 14 and up. Because if you have a 10-year-old or an 11-year-old playing a game that is not old enough to play,
There's some 7-year-olds that play Grand Theft Auto.
He's gonna.
So what happens if he is 14 and up, but it still affects him as if he was 12 years old?
That's a good question.
Or even if he was 11, but he took it better than the 14-year-old.
I think that's the parents' decision. Because if you know that your kid is like a more mature person, you're going to be like, okay, my son or daughter can handle this, so I'll get them an older game. But there are those kids who act like 3 years younger than they actually are. And you're like, you cannot play this 14-year-old game, even though you are 14, because you can't handle it. It's ultimately the parents' decision, but I don't think the parents take it seriously enough. They're like, oh, okay, it's just an age limit. It's not that big of a difference. Yeah. And then when your child is scarred for life later, you're like, oops, I did that.
Right.
And people playing these games, like you hear somebody talking like this code and be like, oh, that's from this game I was playing the other day. The dude said it like, in Grand Theft Auto, they have like a lot of language that's just like, just crazy. Totally. And I do play it myself. I was playing the other day and I was just thinking like, wow, like, just imagine like I hear people talking like they in a game, but it's real life. So people don't really take it seriously, and that's like I feel it's like a problem.
But what would you guys think that a game creator? What do you think their motive would be to produce a game that's violence surrounded? What would their motive be?
I mean, I look at games as just another form of entertainment. And I think the same creative people who create movies, action movies, that probably have a lot of violence in it, those same types of creative people are also in the video games business. And you have a lot of, especially guys who grew up watching those films, and they end up wanting to recreate those kind of experiences in video games. And so they're just taking the genres, like I was a sports guy, and I grew up playing all the sports, and my brothers did. And I ended up wanting to make sports games and bring that experience onto gaming. And I think a lot of people who like those kind of films enjoy it, end up doing games in that same area. So, and we're in a world in where capitalism, where people are trying to get rich and make money, and those types of games and movies end up selling, and you have some companies who end up doing them.
Hello, I'm Kayla.
And I'm Freddie.
And let's talk about gaming. I'm sure you're a big gamer, right?
Yep.
You have Call of Duty, 2K. But how does it affect us negatively?
Well, it perpetuates violence, and that just seeps into like young people's brains. And whatever they see on the screen, that's what they're going to think about all the time.
Yeah, that kind of happens sometimes.
Right.
But our first question is, how should parents control the amount of hours spent playing games, or should they at all?
Well, they should enforce a gaming curfew. Can't play past 9 o'clock.
can't play like after 10 or
Right.
something like that. Yeah, cool. But it can't be all bad, right?
Right. It could be positive. You know, it could take away the stress after a hard day's work at school.
That happens.
And you know, it could teach you like
Time
these
management.
which is what your parents are going to teach you about it.
Exactly.
So, you know, follow the hashtag on Twitter at
Gaming for me is. Don't forget it.
Right. Don't
Gaming
forget.
for me is.
And you know, we just want to hear what you have to think about it. You know, have to say about it.
How do people learn time management just through playing games?
Well, you know, it could teach them, well, okay, I have to do homework at a certain time.
True.
But I also want to have fun. So I need to set up like a schedule between work and fun.
Right. So maybe students or even like people in college, students in high school, middle school even, should set up a schedule for themselves.
Right.
Like 1 o'clock when I get home, maybe 3 o'clock if you get home in high school, and like 5 o'clock in middle school, and you create your own schedule.
Right.
And I'm Kayla.
And this is Freddie.
On hashtag it.
Hello, and welcome to Code Green. My name is Dan.
And my name is Prentice. Today we're talking about school-friendly environment.
Let's get started. As we learned last time, helping to reduce the potential impact of climate change should be a priority for all of us, because climate change has already begun to affect key aspects of our lives.
That's right. We know that climate change occurs naturally over hundreds of thousands of years, but we also know that humans accelerate the process. It is up to us, the youth of our nation, to change the ways we've done these things and preserve our planet for future generations.
But how? Oh, well, how? Many ways. We can lobby our elected officials to shift to greener methods of producing energy, and we can cut down on the amount of driving we do. But we can also go green by creating more sustainable ways to live.
Yeah. Well, not to insult your suggestions, but can we do? I mean, as young adults, not many politicians will be concerned about what we think. I mean, we can't even vote.
Well, we can always get started by changing our own habits and our habits at school.
What do you mean?
Well, for starters, we can encourage schools to recycle used paper and plastic. I mean, some schools already do this, but if nobody is responsible for recycling at your school, why not do it yourself? You can start a recycling club. Get friends involved and your teachers. It helps the future in a couple of ways, actually. It protects our planet, but then it keeps it healthy, but it also helps build a resume for college.
That's interesting.
Pardon?
I was just thinking about how to start an environmental club.
Well, here's another idea. To help fund schools, sell metal water bottles. It cuts down on the number of plastic bottles used and then thrown away, and it helps raise money for clubs and it helps the environment.
Don't these all seem like little projects? Like, what big things could we do?
I thought you'd ask that. Schools, if they have the space and ability, could build gardens, rain barrels, compost bins, and benches, and combine all of these to make it more, and with a sensible layout, can help create an outdoor classroom. Students could actually feel the sun on their faces for more than 5 minutes between classes.
Oh, I've read about outdoor classrooms. They increase student attentiveness, attitudes, and appropriate behavior. Another win-win scenario. It's a lot harder to fall asleep when the sun is shining on you.
Tell me about it. It's a good bit of work, but a large payoff. But thanks again for joining us for Green Code. My name is Dan.
And I'm Prentice.
See ya.
Bye. Are you ready for some Hot 16? Please welcome Rochelle Hot 16.
Yeah, Rochelle Hot 16. You catch me on Twitter at Hot 16. Well, let me give it to you like this. No for King, no for King, no for King. I wanna swim away just so I can meet Frank. A quest for the truth with that you gotta pay. He sheds tattoo tears. Can't find the real ones. Lost all feeling. So less physical. Always on the run. Jumping in the vehicle. Reap what you sow. Karma, enemy. Did what you done. Haunting memories. He really messed up. Price on his head, ain't talking haircut, Scarface to the end. I gotta hold him down, you know I always did. It's getting dangerous, I gotta leave him here. Down in the rough, no one else is quite like me. Made my decision, I'm no longer living crazy. Always holding pistols, he said one day it's gonna save me. Addicted to the life and I'm addicted to her. Down in the rough, no one else is quiet like me. Made my decision, I'm no longer living crazy. Always holding pistols, he say one day it's gonna save me. He always on the run, and I'm thinking about that. Gotta know when it's no more, know when it's. You gotta know when it's no more, know when it's. You gotta know when it's no more, 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 when it's no more, when it's no more, when it's no more, when it's no more. I'm your ride or die, don't take this little road. Relationship dead, I'm at his funeral. Closed casket, that's how messed up it was. I was young doing dumb stuff. Association, catch a court charge. They look for everybody inbound. I'm trying to plead the fifth, you're trying to keep me here. Suicidal thoughts between the closed walls. I gotta let him go. Down in the rough, no one else is quite like me. Made my decision, I'm no longer living crazy. Always on, she say one day it's gonna save me. And I'm addicted to her. Down in the rough, no one else is quite like me. Made my decision, I'm no longer living crazy. Always on pistols, he said one day it's gonna save me. Always on the run, and I'm thinking about letting him go. When it's no more, no when it's. You gotta know when it's no more, no when it's. You gotta know when it's no more, no when it's no more, no when it's no more, no when it's no more, when it's no more, no when it's no more. When it's no more, when it's no more, it's super bad. Changed my ID. Now I'm McLovin coming from Hawaii. Get the closest ones to you. That's me. I refuse to be punished for your evil deeds. Shine the buff. Even Stevens, they try to make a puppet at you. Cousin Skeeter, gotta get from around you with the force finger. He's lethal for me. I gotta leave him. No when it's no more, no when it's. You gotta know when it's no more, no when it's. You gotta know when it's no more, no when it's no more. Gotta know the relationship dead. No more, 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 no more. Diamond in the rough, no one else is quite like me. Made my decision, I'm no longer living crazy. Always holding pistols, he say one day it's gonna save me. Addicted to the life, and I'm addicted to her. Diamond in the rough, no one else is quite like me. Made my decision, I'm no longer living crazy. Always holding pistols, he say one day it's gonna save me. We always on the run, and I'm thinking about letting him go. And I'm thinking about, always thinking about, and I'm thinking about letting him go. Yeah.
Yes, yes. Thank you, Rochelle.
There are all kinds of reasons to like someone. Or not. But is appearance one of them?
Let's kick back with our pit crew and discuss, should we judge people by appearance? So tell me, you guys, give me your opinions on, do you like the school dress code or not?
No. No.
Tell me why do you say that?
I don't particularly like uniform. Like, you mean dress code as in like uniform or just?
Okay, yeah, I guess everybody does have different attire for school because people do have uniform. Okay, so why don't you like uniform?
I don't like looking like everybody else all the time.
Identical. Isn't it easier to get dressed when you have uniform?
Sometimes. But it's easier not to get, like, to wear, like, regular clothes. You wear sweatpants, you have, like, jeans.
Yeah, like, my mom, I buy so many clothes, and they just sit in my closet, but I don't use them for school. And that school takes up most of my time, so what do I have clothes for if I'm not using them for school? Shelter?
True.
Shelter.
Well, I had two experiences, actually. I went to Rapier, and there you were in uniforms, and now I'm going to see the girls that we know in uniforms. I feel as if the uniforms or the dress code that they had in the Rapier was for the kids that didn't necessarily have what other kids at Rapier had, so instead of making people feel better than other people, they just had us all on the same thing.
But, like, I understand what you're saying, but you can still, like, I'm just trying to say, like, you try to make it, people, like, who don't have as much money as other people, try to make it seem like it's even. Be like, you can still tell who has money and who doesn't.
That's
like,
true,
with or without uniform.
Wearing uniforms does make a difference. It's like on
them Jonah Hookers, your shirts are dirty. Y'all still got the same white shirt.
That's true. I agree. So what about, why do you think that uniform distracts you, or not wearing uniform distracts you?
I think anything can be a distraction.
In the classroom, that's true.
Especially girls still, they come in with skirts on, but the skirts will be
Now, I know when I used to have to wear a uniform, but I was in a foreign country when I had to do that, and they were really serious about uniform. I was so not serious about that uniform, so I used to do whatever I could to make myself feel like myself when I wore the uniform because I felt ridiculously restricted. I always used to get in trouble for that. Like either the skirts pleats would be too pleated, or the hem would be too short. Something would always be wrong, and I don't like uniform personally because I think it limits how far I can be myself.
So you don't think that it cuts down the amount of people that come to school looking just any kind of way because they have uniform on?
Well, I think that even if you have uniform, you're going to do something to make it look different. Like one girl might wear a blazer with her uniform, another might wear like high heels to make themselves look different subtly. That's what I used to do so that I wouldn't be washed in with everyone else. I'm not a group, I'm like one person.
So what do you think, if you could take out one thing from out of the dress code that we have for school, what would you think? What do you think is like ridiculous?
I would do the holes in the pants. I never understood that. What's the difference from having a hole right here and wearing shorts? If you ask me, that's all shorts are. A big hole in your pants. But yet, when you wear a hole down here in your pants, you got to go to ISS. Or have your parents leave work, probably get fired, just to bring you some clothes.
Okay, ladies, what do you guys think is one thing that you don't like about like the dress code?
The whole shoulder thing.
That's
like,
I agree.
Like I could wear like a spaghetti string top, and they're like, "Oh my God, your shoulder, that's enticing."
Oh my gosh.
Like, what? Like no, like it's hot. Like,
I mean, every part of a girl is going to be naturally enticing to whoever is attracted to females. But I can't understand a guy or anyone else who's attracted to me being like, them shoulders, them shoulders, elbows. No one does that. Them elbows looking too far.
Sense. Okay, so do you think that the dress code like is for women or even guys with all different body types? Do you think it appeals to everybody?
I think the dress code is actually set in place for the teachers, if you think about it.
Why would you say that's fine?
Because of the things, I mean, certain things go on or whatever, but we're all mature to some degree. And like she was saying with the shoulders, it's like what's enticing about shoulders, but it might not be the students that's looking at the shoulders. So I think they set it in place for everybody where it's universal, so that way everybody can, you know what I mean, like have rules.
It just goes for everyone that's in the school, in their environment.
Yeah, but in a way, the dress code sometimes isn't fair because there's a thing with like jeggings. And sometimes the skinnier girls can get away with jeggings. But let me walk in there with some jeggings on, I'm like sent to go get a pair of sweats.
Right. I mean,
sometimes it's the other way around. It's the ones, that has the body that gets away with it. Like, I guess it depends.
Why would you say that?
Some teachers actually believe, which might be true, I'm not sure, but they believe that some females just can't find their natural size. So jeggings is the only thing that fits their curve, how it needs to be fitted.
What do you guys think about that? Do you think that's true?
Sometimes the bigger girls kind of can get away with it just because
people think that, she can't
really.
So there's a huge double standard with the dress code.
I think there's a huge double standard with the dress code because dare I walk into the high school with like a leather skirt? I love my leather skirts, but the minute that I whirl up in there, someone will be like, "Oh my God, what is you wearing?" And I'm like, clothes. And then someone else will walk right by me, the same leather skirt, not the exact same leather skirt, mind you, but another leather skirt or something, and she'll be perfectly okay. And I'm just like, 4K? What? What is going on? It's crazy.
Like, I was covered up, like, I was wearing, like, all black, like, covered up from head to toe. And it was like a skirt, but I had on, like, black stockings under it. Right. And I said this girl walked by with a skirt fishnets. Like, you could see, like, almost all of what she had going on. And the assistant principal said, you need some sweats. I said, what about her? She needs some too. Like,
I think it's a double standard with teachers as well, because I had this one teacher, I'll never forget, in 7th grade, she came in and she had like a skirt like up to here, like her leg was just all out.
You won't forget.
And then like everybody noticed, like, just, and then people would talk about her, like, you know, like she needs, like, it's a double standard. Like, she'll tell students to go to ISS or whatever, but at the same time, she's not really dressing appropriately.
I wouldn't say it's double standard because some people just know not. Excuse me. Some people just know how not to get caught. I've worn flip-flops to Miller Grove. Oh, excuse me. I've worn flip-flops to school several times, and I probably only got caught once, and that's because I actually was in front of a teacher, like the principal. So
I'm not going to pretend that I haven't worn some shorts or something that I knew wasn't right. It's called tying a cardigan around my waist when I see a teacher coming. But I like my shorts. They're not crazy. It's just that the teachers are going to think that they're crazy if I can't hold them down and my fingertips don't touch. Like, chill out. Not everyone's fingertips wants to be all the way down there. I'm going to wear what I want to wear, but not to the extent. I know what's inappropriate. There are some things that you just should not be wearing to school, and I've accepted that. But there are some things that I think that us as teenagers, we're going to want to wear. And I don't know. I'm not sure, like, whoever writes the dress code, but they probably don't like whatever it is that we're trying to wear. So they're like, nah.
So to flip the script, what about for guys? Do you think it's, like, too much? What is too much sagging? Like, tell me.
For guys, you shouldn't see your underwear at all, or whatever's going on under your pants. Like, I mean, why keep your pants on your waist, really? And a lot of people, the old phrase for people who would be sagging, they'd say, hey, get a belt. But nowadays, we all wear belts but still sag. That's the thing.
Okay, so what's anybody else?
I don't know what it does.
Okay.
I don't see the purpose in it either. Like you said, it's you have on these expensive belts. It's like for what? You're not going to use them.
And people think it's cool to sag, but girls don't find it attractive. And if you think about it ahead of time, you're gonna have hip problems because your legs are spread apart, and because you're trying to keep the pants up so they don't fall down because that's how close they are. You're gonna have to go get like a hip replacement when you're 50.
Wow.
I've never heard of a girl
say, I mean, health.
Look at SpongeBob boxers. Exactly. It's just like the shoulder thing. Nobody wants to see your underwear.
Chill out. I've also heard a young child spotted a young male sagging, and she didn't say, ooh, I like your SpongeBob shorts. She said, ew, I see something that's not right. It wasn't clean. Yeah. What I'm trying to get at is, I don't understand why a lot of us wear belts, but yet your pants are still down to your knees.
What are they pants anymore? I mean,
ankle warmers.
I feel like they're just like extra underwear you're just
there for your knees.
Here's a question that I have: like, what is the point? What is so great about saying, okay, I'm finna pull my pants down below to where they should be, so that my undergarments are just all out? Like, what is the point? What do you get out of walking around like this?
And I've never heard it like impress the other guys. Like I've never heard them be like, "Oh, good one, man. You're really sagging today," you know. Like I've never heard them be like, "Nice."
Is it sometimes like comfortable though? Like, because okay, so jeans. Like sometimes maybe they can be a little tight around the waist, maybe for guys. Like,
but like when they go to their locker, you know, and like bend over, like you're just like, oh. Please let me get it, please.
At least, okay, it's a positive thing from sagging. It extends human nature. It's being nice to each other because we don't want to be.
Okay, so what about ladies and cleavage? What do you think is like too much, and what is like?
The V-necks, the sheer shirts, everything that's basically esoteric, like the leggings a lot of them wear. They really look like stockings, but they bought them as leggings. I don't
first of all,
understand
leggings
how.
are comfortable. So,
But now look, I understand where you're coming from. I would want to be comfortable in my PJs too. They just fit on my body, like leggings.
So by PJs, do you feel like they should be? worn at home, that they shouldn't be seen out in public?
I feel as though leggings should be worn like jogging pants, except in school.
Okay, so you agree with no leggings in school?
Yes. No jeggings either. Anything without a pocket, I don't consider pants.
Does anyone agree to wear leggings to school?
Pants doesn't mean they can't wear them.
Okay. Of course. Autumn, why do you think that we should be able to wear leggings?
Well, because I feel like if I want to wear leggings, I should be able to. Like, if you want to sag, I feel like you should be able to sag because, I mean, even though I don't like it, it's your own choice.
So you feel like it's an individual thing?
Yeah.
It's your
just like the
prerogative?
cleavage thing.
Yeah, I feel like if I want to do that,
yes. Because if somebody wants to show off, and they can, because hopefully they, like, God gave them those. Like, let's hope that you're not in high school, you've already got one. But, like, if you want to show that off, obviously I don't want to see all of them, but if you want to show a little cleavage off, I have no problem with it. And I'm almost positive that the boys don't have any problem with it either.
I've noticed that they're always like, oh my gosh, you don't want to distract each other. What kind of animalistic jungle park do you think that we're trying to be in? I'm pretty sure that I've had to deal with cute boys in my class since I was like born. I'm okay, I can still do my work and I can still look up like, okay, back to math.
That's a great point. We thank
It's
you so much
okay.
for you guys' opinions on dress code.
Now we're going to kick it off to Kayla for what's the move on getting ready for college.
Between 1995 and 2011, immediate college enrollment rates increased for whites 65 to 69%, for blacks 53 to 65%, and Hispanic 52 to 63. High school completers, the immediate college enrollment rates for both males and females increased between 1975 and 2011. The rate for males increased from 53 to 65%, and the rates for females from 49 to 72%. The enrollment pattern has shifted over time to higher enrollment rates for females than for males. Choices to make post-secondary schools, community colleges, private colleges, universities, vocational and trade schools, public colleges and universities, liberal arts colleges, workforce, work, join the military, apprenticeship, volunteer. So, you all, what are you guys doing to prepare after high school?
Hi, Caleb.
Hi.
I think that in high school, it's always good to know what college that you already want to go to.
True.
So for myself, I know what college I want to attend, so I've already started doing my research, what SAT scores I'm going to need, what ACT scores I'm going to need, how much room and board is going to cost, because that's important too.
Okay, that was a good point. Now, you said you should know when you're entering high school. Like, what grade do you think, like, you need to know, like, it's time, like, I need to buckle down?
I would say your junior year.
You
need to know what college you want to go to, what career you're trying to enter.
I agree. What about you all? What are you doing after high school?
Well, I think she made a good point in, knowing what you want to do. But I think even if you don't, you should equip yourself and have a lot of extracurricular activities and a variety of sorts. So whatever you end up being interested in, you're prepared, and colleges can see that.
Right, so you don't think there's any right or wrong choice after high school? Like choices like the military, trade school, maybe just going to work. There's no right or wrong, right?
It's whatever fits the person.
Cool. So what about you after high school? What's up?
Well, I was thinking that to get prepared for college, I was thinking you need to take as many rigorous classes that you can find. You need to stay involved in your community for those hours, You need to work towards your specific SAT goal, which also goes along with researching what your desired college requires. Mm-hmm. And I really think that that looking out for different college opportunities like scholarships and stuff is really helpful. Like me, I go look around on the internet for a lot of college problems, and I just recently went to a college fair. And I got a lot of information from different colleges, and it was so helpful to the point that I've almost set what college I want to go to. Yeah.
Right. So you're like, what I got from that is that you're saying it's not all about your grades.
No.
Basically, it's about volunteering in the community. Yes. You need to get down and do the research for yourself, and make sure you know where the money is coming from to pay for college. Right.
Yes, definitely.
Right. So about college, anything you guys like worried about, like, after high school? Like, how are you so sure is college the right choice?
I feel like college would be the right choice for me because I'm a hard worker. I have good work ethic. I can't just sit at home and do nothing. So I feel like the next step for me is going to have to be college because I have to be always doing something. So.
Okay. What about you?
Well, I think because I know what I want to be when I grow up, and I know what I want to do in life, and I know that for my career, college is the right path to go. College is the path to get there.
Okay.
And so that's how I know college is right for me.
Okay, but like hard workers, what do you say, like what's the type of person that you think should go into the workforce right after high school instead of just going to college?
Well, I think if you're going to go to college and get a degree, then you use that degree, and if you don't need that degree, then you can enter the workforce.
Cool. Yeah, I like all of what you said. This is Kayla, and this has been What's the Move?
Hi, my name is Kelly from Southwest DeKalb High School, and this is Parenting 101. Here's a letter from one of our parents. Dear teen expert, SATs are coming up, and I'm afraid my twin boys aren't spending enough time studying. I provided instructional resources from the DeKalb County School District, and we attended the workshops too. But since then, I find that my boys just aren't interested. They seem to do well at testing, but when I was growing up, we studied hard. My boys don't study as hard, but seem to do well anyway. So, how do I inspire my boys to study more? Should I take away their cell phones? Video games? I don't want to force them to study, and I want them to be inspired to study more. What are some creative ways to challenge them? Let me know your thoughts. Thanks. That's a great question. I find that with teens, we like to be rewarded for doing well instead of punished for doing bad. So maybe as a way to inspire them, you can set up a reward system so that if they study for a certain amount of time a week, or if they get a certain score on the SAT, that you'll reward them with a new item or something that they've been looking forward to. That was a great question. Once again, I'm Kelly from Parenting 101.
This lady has been doing shows all across Atlanta. She's a junior at Stevenson High School. Please welcome Destiny.
Summertime and the living is easy. Fish are jumping and the cotton is high. Your daddy's rich and your ma is good looking. So hush, little baby, don't you cry. One of these mornings, you're gonna rise up singing. Then you'll spread your wings and fly to the sky. But till the morning, there's nothing can harm